Dogfish Head Punkin Ale 2016. Let's see. I love the artwork on this. Look at this. Day of the Dead style. You. Nothing on the back. And what matters most is the beer. Look at that. Coppery, orange, amber, not much head. Let's give it a swirl. Looks good, but what is it like on the palate? This has to be one of the more well-balanced and subdued pumpkin ales I've ever had. Usually they have a lot more higher alcohol and higher sugar, like pumped up sugar, lots of that residual sugar, that higher sugar factor. This doesn't have that. This is probably the most palatable for those people who don't like pumpkin flavored things. If you're ever in a place and all your friends are saying, let's have pumpkin ale, and you're like, I'm not really into it, your best bet is to get Dogfish Head Punkin, because it's the most well balanced and not over the top spicy. Like Pumpkin Head has more, from Southern Tier, has more of that pronounced pumpkin, like pumpkin spices, etc. Spooky Tooth by Fatheads has more of that sugar and pumpkin and higher alcohol as well, 9%. This is 7%, 28 IBUs, and has to be one of the most, like I said, I mean, there's still pumpkin there, so if you're completely against pumpkin, don't get it. But this is a best case scenario for a guy who's not I haven't been drinking many pumpkin flavored ales this season so far. And I like Spooky Tooth, but it just didn't hit me right this season. Last year it was my favorite, year before. This year, I don't know. I think my palate's changed. I don't think that Spooky Tooth has changed. I've just been drinking more and more different things over the last year. That happens. The more you drink, and the more you drink, the more drunk you're going to get, whatever. I hear your comments, but the point is, the wider range of things that hit your palate, and you're judging them, the wider experience level that you're going to pull from when you're judging beers or wines or spirits or anything else. So because you have more experience, that leads into knowledge that tells you, oh, okay. Like recently, I've been drinking only IPAs, session ales, double IPAs, and that sort of thing. So I was a little nervous trying something that's like a pumpkin ale that's a flavored ale. And this is a best case scenario of what I could have ever expected for a pumpkin ale, because it's not high alcohol and high sugar. It's just nice balance to it. Dogfish Head Punkin Ale. Time to spin the wheel of ego. I hope it lands on something good tonight. 1, 2, 3. Bingo! Oh, finally, something different. Doctor of Divinity. I've been studying philosophy and alternative religions and spiritual paths, as well as initiating through different things, which is ironic. This is the only time I've worn my 32nd degree double-headed eagle necklace pendant, which represents the 32nd degree of Freemasonry, of which I am someone who has that degree. I don't care to search around for that. But Doctor of Divinity. So, because I hold a Doctorate of Divinity, having studied these since, 1991, I started studying religions, philosophies, and alternative belief systems, including cults. And I formed my own cult back in 1995 called the Mind Programming Cult. It's still in the Library of Congress. I haven't done anything with it yet. I got it on the back burner in case times are hard. You're going to want to have a cult in the back pocket. Nevertheless, my studies of the last 25, almost 30 years have led us to the point where we are here. So, Doctorate of Divinity, what did I say I was going to talk about for that? Well, because we can talk about philosophies, spiritual systems, cults, religions, etc. One of the belief systems of which I've had quite a bit of experience in is self-realization fellowship, which is the one with this guy, Paramahansa Yogananda. He wrote Autobiography of a Yogi. He does not drink alcohol. A lot of the Hindu paths don't drink alcohol. Muslim paths don't drink alcohol. Voodoo is really solid on drinking alcohol. Thelema, good for alcohol. Catholicism, Protestantism, sometimes, in the dark, in a closet. In any case, the main head of Self-Realization Fellowship is Paramahansa Yogananda here. They have a headquarters based on Mount Washington in Los Angeles. And Paramahansa Yogananda teaches Kriya Yoga, which is Kriya Yoga is the path of action or circulation through the body, doing circulation of your Kriya or prana, which is your energy, and then you take that energy, you circulate it so that you can reach altered states of consciousness for union with God, as seen. It's sort of a combination of mystical Christianity and Hinduism in a way. They don't go into all of the different gods and everything, but it's about self-realization fellowship is about having that kind of communion with your divine maker, that you can meditate more and more and achieve that mind space that leads to higher, working through higher levels of being. SRF, a lot of the devotees or people who are dedicated to the path of self-realization fellowship and Kriya Yoga under Paramahansaji Yogananda are usually vegetarian. Don't have to be, but usually in the strictest sense they become vegetarian. And then the benefit is the more you meditate, the more you practice, you do the SRF lessons, the more you will attain higher levels of consciousness and attain a more simpatico with your maker. Paramahansa Yogananda's guru is Swami Sri Yukteswar, who, this is one of, I put it on a black background there. I love this picture, by the way. He just meditates there. And if you take the pictures of the gurus, especially in an Indian system, in India they really believe in the guru-disciple relationship. So you're meditating, with your guru. Even if your guru has passed on out of this material world, you can look at a picture, burn some incense, and go into meditation and be completely at one with your guru, who can then give you advice and move you forward. So it's not limited to this time-space that we realize on Earth. So books to read on that path are Autobiography of a Yogi, obviously, by Paramahansa Yogananda. Whispers from Eternity, his book on... it's a book of poetry with really pretty pictures. I have it downstairs, but I'm not going to run and grab all these things. He did a translation of the Bhagavad Gita, which is very actively energizing yoga with pranayama energy moving and that sort of an idea, as opposed to the more devotional path of someone that was more bhakti yoga oriented, like Swami Prabhupada from the Hare Krishnas, ISKCON, the Krishna consciousness movement of the Hare Krishnas. Srila Prabhupada was bhakti yoga, so that was a different path, and we're not covering that today. In any case, yeah, so read Whispers from Eternity if you like poetry, if you like pretty pictures of nature, and then poems about union with God through yoga. Autobiography of a Yogi has sold, it's got to be billions of copies at this point, because he was one of the first people to travel to the Western world and then give the idea of yoga back in the 50s to the United States. So he was one of the first swamis with the whole turban and ochre robe that's orange, wandering around. Another fun little fact here, these pads, I think I can find it. There's a unique piece of equipment here it is, that you don't see very often in meditate. A lot of times you're going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to sign up for yoga. And then you go, oh, we're going to teach you these techniques, give us some money, and we're going to teach you these techniques. They have all of these techniques in Self-Realization Fellowship, of which I'm still a fan, and I've been involved in it off and on over years. But one of the things I've never seen, other than my purchasing it, is this. They created an actual board. They snap together. These are handmade for your meditation practice. Look at this. So it's just a piece of wood that screws into a beveled piece of wood here, and then you have an adjustable setting for how high or low you want to put it. So then what you do is you put it in your lap while you're sitting in a chair, and then your arms can sit on this thing as your arms are supported by this, right? So you're in this position, and I can't do it without changing the camera setting, but basically what you're doing here is there we go, both hands are like this for a technique. So it's resting so that your hands can be in this specialized, unique meditation technique that takes your meditations to a higher level. It's a secret technique inside of the lesson program of students of Self-Realization Fellowship and Paramahansa Yogananda's Kriya Yoga. So this is one of those things that I've never seen hardware made for a metaphysical path, but that is very helpful because otherwise you have to stack pillows to do it and they rock back and forth. So I apologize for going too long on yoga and meditation on a drinking video, but this is what you get. When you get the wheel of ego, you never know where you're going to end up. So if you like this video and enjoyed my review of Dogfish Head's Punkin Ale, hit like, hit subscribe, keep watching, tell a friend. If you didn't like it, hit like and subscribe, or hit dislike and then subscribe so you can be enraged further. If you have any comments, hit me back, of course. Post them down below. And also follow me on Facebook. It's Winsome Winesomm, Winsome Winesomm, Winsome Winesomm Facebook, Winsome Winesomm Instagram, the Winsome Winesomm blog on WordPress. And I'm on Twitter at Winsome Winesomm as well. So thanks a lot for watching, and keep on drinking. The world is your oyster, so shuck it. Cheers.